Roscoarno may also proceed with them, but only by their own wish. And secondly, their highest being body is taken directly to the holy planet Purgatory. And so when I returned to the planet Mars from the planet Earth, and while I was hurriedly finishing the liquidation of my affairs there, I was informed that the Tuf Nef Tef of the planet wished to see me personally. This request of the Honorable Tuf Nef Tef was translated to me through our Ahun by means of what is there called a Keli E Ofu. The text of this Keli E Ofu was as follows. I have heard that you, your right reverence, have become worthy of receiving from our common Father Creator full pardon for the transgressions of your youth, and that you are now leaving my native land forever. And therefore I, an old being, very much wish to see you and to bless you personally for the last time, and at the same time to thank, through your person, all the beings of your tribe for their constant good relations with the beings of my native land during so many years. At the end of this Keli E Ofu was the proscript. I personally would present myself at your house, but as you know, the size of my planetary body does not permit me in any way to do so, and hence I am compelled to beg you not to refuse to come to my Fal Fe Fuf. I must say that the three-brained beings of the planet Mars knew our genuine nature from the very beginning, and also the true reason why we were compelled to dwell on their planet. They were not like the three-brained beings of your planet, who never knew anything and never even suspected who we were, and why we existed on their planet. And so, my boy, when I received the said invitation from the Honorable Tuf Nef Tef, I of course immediately decided to go to him without delay. And when I arrived there, this, in the full sense of the word, great Tuf Nef Tef, after all the prescribed ceremonies and exchange of courtesies, turned to me as we were talking, with his request, which was just the cause for the subsequent crystallization in me of corresponding data for the indubitable conviction that the results ensuing from the abnormal existence of the three-brained beings of your planet had already begun to act harmfully also on the ordinary existence of the three-brained beings arising and existing on the planet Mars, in respect of their potency to perfect themselves as is proper to all three-brained beings. I shall try to give you in our speech the contents of this request of the great Tuf Nef Tef, almost literally. He then said as follows, Your Right Reverence, thanks to the most gracious pardon granted to you from above, you have again acquired the right freely to actualize your justly merited wishes. And thanks to this all-embracing grace, you have again all the possibilities of becoming what you might long ago have been, owing to your former acquired merits as regards reason. And of course, from now on, you, your right reverence, will undoubtedly meet various individuals corresponding to your reason, who have already reached the higher gradations of reason. And so I take the liberty of applying to you as my old friend, with the request which consists in this, that on meeting these individuals you should remember about me, an old being, and not forget to ask their opinion about that fact which during recent years has almost all the time been a shock for the arising of disturbing associations in all my spiritualized parts, and that when you will have learned their opinion, not to refuse to communicate it to me somehow or other at a suitable occasion. And he continued further, the point is that during the last few stofus, I constated very definitely that among the beings of our planet, the Norfuftafaf increases each stofu, and parallel with this, I observed in them a proportional diminishing of the intensity of their potency for the possibility of active mentation. When I first discovered this fact, so deplorable for the beings of our planet, I began from then on intensively to ponder and to seek the cause of it, in order to be able to give corresponding indications to those beings who have entrusted themselves to me, to help them in their struggle to uproot this lamentable factor that has newly arisen in their common presences. Then, in spite of the fact that I meditated very often and long on this question, which constantly agitated me, I have, up till now, not been able, even approximately, to elucidate for myself where the trouble lies, and what corresponding measures must be taken to destroy this evil. Thus ended the request of the Honorable Tuf Nef Tef of the planet Mars. And I, my boy, of course, there and then promised this oldest friend of mine to inquire about all this, and at my first meeting with a corresponding individual to communicate the reply to him without fail. Several Martian days after the interview of which I have told you, we left this hospitable planet forever and ascended to the planet Saturn. No sooner had we arrived on the planet Saturn than the chief of our tribe there at once came and announced to us the contents of the etherogram he had just received, in which it was stated that the big intersystem ship Omnipresent would land on the planet Saturn only early in the Hrehri'hra. Hrehri'hra means there, one of those periods of time determined by a certain position occupied by this planet in relation, on the one hand, to the sun of its system, and on the other, to another planet of this same system called Neptune. There are, in 1 year, 7 of these definitely established periods there on the planet Saturn, and each of them has its own name. As by the time calculations of the planet Mars, there yet remained to this Hrehri'hra almost half a fus, or by the time calculation of your favorites, about 1.5 months. We decided to organize our ordinary being existence there during this waiting in a more or less suitable manner. One part of our beings remained on the ship Occasion itself. Another found accommodation in the places offered by the amiable beings of the planet Saturn. And I, with Ahun, went to Rerch. That is, to just that large populated center of being where my friend Gornahur Harharch had existed. In the evening of our arrival there, I, by the way, asked this essence friend of mine during friendly conversation how the existence of his heir proceeded. That is, my dear Kesjanian result outside of me, or as your favorites would say, my godson, Gornahur Rakhorch. He thanked me and said that Rakhorch existed quite well, that he had already become his heir in all respects, and that he had made the aim of his existence also the study of the details of the omnipresent substance Okidanoch, which had previously been for himself also the aim of all his responsible existence.